Hello viewers, Wagada Ronald taking you through the story of O-Level Mathematics Paper 2. And this video, I'm going to go through the marking guide for Senior 3 beginning of term exam, which I posted earlier. So I believe you have already attempted the paper and now you're ready to mark yourself and check your progress. So I'll start with question 1. Question 1 says that convert 3.2424 recurring to a fraction. So you first come and say that let x be equal to this given recurring fraction. The next is to multiply, to shift this decimal 1, 2 up to where the recurring decimal starts from. So that is 100 because it's 2, 1, 2. 2 place values means you multiply by 100. So that means that this x will now become 100x. And when I multiply, it will shift now to 302.2424. So the aim is to make the decimal places the same. These are 4 decimal places, also this has to be 4 decimal places. Now next is to subtract this x from this 100 to come up with 100x, which is equal to 324.2424 recurring minus x, which is 3.2424 recurring. So this minus this gives you 99x. This minus this gives you 321. Now next is to divide both sides by 99 to come up with x being equal to 321 over 99. And when I reduce, I'll come up with 107 over 33. Then in mixed fraction, it will be 3 whole numbers 8 over 33. So M1 for multiplying by 100, M1 for subtraction, M1 for dividing, and A1 for the mixed fraction. So that was question 1. Now we shall go to question 2. Question 2 says that if x is indirectly, know this word indirectly, proportional to the square root of y, and y is equal to 16 when x is 25, find the value of y when x is 10. So the first thing to do is to write the proportional given. So they said indirectly proportional, meaning that this square root of y will be a reciprocal. That's why there is x and this proportional sign, then you see 1 over square root of y. Now to remove this proportionality sign, you have to put a constant. So you shall come and say that x will be equal to k over square root of y. But the good thing, we are given a pair of values. There is y when y is 16, x is 25. So shall come and say that when y is 16, x is 25. Therefore, I'll substitute for x and for y to be able to remain with an unknown, which is k. Now when I cross multiply, now square root of 16 is 4. Therefore, when I cross multiply, I'll come up with k equal to 100. So 25 times 4 gives you 100. That means that now from here, when I substitute for k, I'll come up with x being equal to 100 over square root of y. So now that you have got the relation between x and y, we can come and get the values of y, the value of y when x is 10. So you come and say that when x is 10, come and substitute for x to remain with y. Then next is to cross multiply, bring this square root of y this side. Next is to divide through by 10 to make square root of y the subject. Then from here we have to square both sides to come up with the value of y being equal to 100. So M1 is for this relation with constant casing, B1 for the value of k, then M1 for this substitution, then A1 for the value of y. So that was question 2. Now we shall go to question 3. Question 3 says that simplify this given logarithm. So we shall come and say that first of all, 64 can be simplified to 2 to the power 6. 2 to the power 6. 25 it will be simplified to 5 to the power 2. Then after that, I remember that this power can go this side to come up with 6 times a half. Then here to remain log 2. Then also this power can come this side to come up with 2 log 5. Then this one remains as it is. Then 6 times a half is 3. That's why there is 3 there. And the rest is the same. Then next is to collect like terms. This is 3 log 2 and minus 1 minus log 2. So 3 minus 1 gives you 2. That's why there is 2 log 2 here. And this one remains as it is. The next is to realize that 2 is common in both. So I'll pull it out to come up with 2 log 2 times 5. So log 2 plus log 5 is log 2 times 5. Now this log 2 times 5 is 10. That means, and we know that log 10 is equal to 1 because this is base 10. So log base 10 of 10 is 1. That is why there is 1 here. Now when I multiply this, I'll come up with 2 as the answer. So expressing in terms of indices, this and this thing, that is M1, B1 for expressing in terms of log 2 and log 5. Then M1 for substituting for log 10. So seeing this equal to this, that is M1, A1 for the output. So that was question 3. Now we shall go to question 4. And question 4 says, given that fx is equal to 2x minus 3 and gx is equal to 4 over x minus 7, find gfx and gf9. So gfx means that you get fx and substitute in gx. So get the whole of this and put it where there is x in gx. So put it here, you'll come up with 4 over, now this, where there is x, we're going to put there this, that's why you see it here. Then the minus remains and the 7 remains. Now when I open brackets this one, it will become this. And when I reduce this one, in this case 2 is common, so when I pull out 2, I'll come up with 2 in brackets x minus 5, but here there is 4, therefore 4 over 2, it becomes 2, and here remain with x minus 5. Now for G9, it means that where you substitute 9 where there is x. So where there is x, put there 9. You realize this 2 remains, and this 9 minus 5 gives you 4. Now 2 over 4 gives you 0.5 or a half. So this M1 is for substituting fx in gx, then A1 for the output. M1 for substitution, A1 for the output. That was question 4. Now we shall go to question 5. Question 5 says, the position vectors of points A and B are negative 17, 5 and negative 9, negative 1 respectively. So that means that this is for A and this is for B. Find the magnitude of AB. So before you get the magnitude, you have to first get vector AB. Vector AB is equal to OB minus OA. So I'll come and substitute for OB minus OA. Now 9 minus negative 17 gives you positive 8, and negative 1 minus 5 gives you negative 6. The next is to get the magnitude of AB is equal to square root of 8 squared minus 8 squared plus negative 6 everything squared. So this bracket is very vital, don't leave it outside. So when you do that, you'll come up with square root of 100, and square root of 100 is 10 units. So M1 for the substitution, B1 for the output, M1 for the substitution, A1 for the output. So that was question 5. Now we shall go to question 6. Question 6 says that given that N is a set of the first 9 natural numbers and P is a set of all prime numbers less than 10, find Roman 1 n intersection p, and Roman 2 number of members. So here there was n, so number of members of n intersection p. So first of all, we shall list the members in set n and set p. So set n, first 9 natural numbers, that is, we start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is set n. Then set p, they want all prime numbers less than 10, so it will be 2, 3, 5, 7. Because then from here the next prime number is 11, so you don't include it there. Now they want the intersection. Intersection means the ones which are common. So 2 is common, 3 is common, 5 is common, and 7 is common. Therefore, n intersection p is 2, 3, 5, 7. That was Roman 1. Then Roman 2, I told you here there is n. So the number of members in n intersection p will be, you count these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4 members. So B1 for listing set n, B1 for listing set p, B1 for listing n intersection p, so this n is not there, n intersection b, and B1 for stating the number of members of n intersection p. So that was question 6. Now we shall go to question 7. Question 7 says that find the equation of a line passing through the points P and Q, which are P is 0, 5 and Q is 8, 1. So given 2 points, the first thing to do is to get the gradient. So the gradient of that will be changing y over changing x. Therefore 1 minus 5 is this, that is changing y, then changing x is 8 minus 0, which is this. So 1 minus 5 is negative 4, 8 minus 0 is 8, so when I simplify I'll come up with negative a half as the gradient. So now that I've got the gradient, and I'll use that gradient to substitute it in M and any one point, so I can choose point P or point Q. So when I choose point Q, I'll realize that x is 0 and y is 5, so I can substitute to get the value of C, which is the y intercept. So I'll substitute for y, substitute for M, substitute for 0, substitute for x, which is 0. So in that case, I realize that C is equal to 5. Therefore, I'll come and state that from here, y is equal to M, which is negative a half, x is there, plus C, which is 5. So M1 for substituting in formula for gradient, B1 for the output, B1 for the y-intercept, B1 for the required equation. So that was question 7. Now we shall go to question 8. So question 8 says a metallic box measures 0.8 meters by 60 centimeters by 0.4 meters. Find the total surface area in meters squared of the box. So what you should realize before anything is that this one is in centimeters. So you come and say the total surface area of a box is the same as total surface area of a cuboid, so which is equal to 2 in brackets length times width plus length times height plus width times height. So this is our length, this is our width, and this is our height. So you come and substitute. This width is in centimeters, so it has to be divided by 100 to change it to meters. Then length, height, width, height. So next is to simplify. This bracket gives you 0.48, this bracket gives you 0.32, this bracket gives you 0.24. Then the whole of this box bracket gives you 1.04. Then when I multiply 2 by that, I'll come up with 2.08 meters squared. So M1 is for these brackets, these multiplications, and M1 for adding all those areas, 3 areas. then M1 for multiplying by 2, and A1 for the required area. So that was question 8. Now we shall go to question 9. The exchange rate of a forex bureau is $1 to Uganda shillings 3,800. That means that $1 is equal to Ugandan shillings 3,800, and 19/24 pounds sterling to Uganda to $1, meaning that $1 is equal to 19/24 pounds sterling. A tourist received Ugandan shillings 45,600,000 after exchanging his money for Ugandan shillings. How many pounds sterling did the tourist have? So this is not sis, it is did the tourist have. So first of all, we shall come and say that $1 is equal to, like we said here, $1 is equal to Ugandan shillings 3,800, but it's also equal to 19/24 pounds. Therefore, if I want to convert from if I'm given shillings and I want to change to pounds sterling, I'll come and say make shillings the subject. So this and this, it means that I will divide by 3,800 to come up, this one goes this side to come up with 19/24 divided by 3,800. So here I remain with 1 Ugandan shilling. That means now that I've got Ugandan shilling 1, I can come and get the value for that. So that means that shillings 45,600,000 is equal to this unit multiplied by, so this is this, then I multiply by this shillings, which is 45,600,000. Now when I use the calculator to simplify all this bracket, I'll come up with 9,500 pound sterling. So M1 for this rate of dollars in pounds, and B1 for the output, then M1 for this and A1 for the output. So here you may choose to use the calculator to simplify this, or you leave it as that. So even if you leave it as that, you'll get these 2 marks, or even if you use the calculator to first simplify, you'll still get the 2 marks. So that was question 9. Now we shall go to question 10. So if someone deposited shillings 5 million at a bank that offers 2% compound interest per annum, meaning per year, calculate how much more money this person will receive in the bank after 2 years. So in this case, this is our principal, this is our rate, and this is our N, 2 years. So we shall come and quote the formula for compound interest, then substitute. So principal is that which is here, then rate is 2, which is here, and N is 2, which is here, 2 years. So when I simplify, this gives you 1.02 by the squared here, so you maintain the squares, and lastly when I simplify this, I'll come up with this amount. But they said how much more, meaning that you have to get the extra amount received, which will be the difference. So this minus the original, which gives you shillings 202,000. So M1 for this substitution, A1 for output, M1 for this substitution, A1 for output. So that was question 10. Now we shall go to question 11. So from question 1 to 10 there were section A questions. Now we shall go to section B questions. So question 11 says, in a group of 40 students, 15 had visited Australia, 18 had visited Britain, and 18 had visited Canada. 8 had visited Australia and Britain. 7 had visited Australia and Canada. 9 had visited Britain and Canada, whereas 8 had not visited any of the 3 countries named above. Part A. Represent this information in a Venn diagram. So let's first go to part A. So let the intersection of all be x. Therefore, shall come and draw our Venn diagram with 3 sets. Then shall list 1 will be the total is 40. We are given in this question that the total number of students is 40. That is why you see that the universal set is 40 there. Then NA is 15. We are given that here we are given that for Australia, so A is for Australia is 15, and Britain, B is for Britain, which is 18, and C is for Canada, which is also 18. So you come here and put NA is 15, NB is 18, and NC is 18. Then X is this one, which we relate. Then N intersection B is, if you look at this, A intersection B is Australia and Britain, which is 8. Therefore, you come here and say that the whole of this total, this and this is 8. Therefore, if this is X, then the remaining part will be 8 minus X. Then next is A intersection C, so Australia and Canada. If you come here, Australia and Canada is 7, meaning that the whole of this intersection is 7, but this is X, meaning that the remaining part will be 7 minus X. Then B and C, Britain and Canada. When you go back here, Britain and Canada is 9, therefore it means that the whole of this intersection is 9, therefore that we know that X is, this is X, therefore the remainder will be 9 minus X. Then 8 is for those who didn't go to any, so if you come here, they say that 8 had not visited any of the 3 countries. That is why outside these 3 boxes, outside these 3 sets, we have 8 here. Now we don't know A, we don't know the number of those who visited A only, or B only, or C only. So you have put unknowns, and we have to get those unknowns to complete our Venn diagram. So you come here and say that NA is equal to all these members. So when I add all these members, I'll come up with this, and is equal to 15. Then when I simplify, this can cancel. So this and this is 15. A is here, and negative X is there. Then 15 is there. So what does that mean? It means that A is equal to X. What about NB? B means that you add all these ones, which is here, and equate them to 18, which is there. So when I simplify, I come up with B, this and this is 17, this cancels with this, we remain with this, which is here, this is there. So what does that mean? It means that B is equal to 1 plus X. Then NC means that you add all these ones to come up with this, which is equal to 18. Simplify and simplify further, I'll come up with C equal to 2 plus X. So with that, I have completed my Venn diagram, because this, where there is A, I'll put there that, where there is B, I'll put there that, and where there is C, I'll put there that. So B1 for filling 8 minus X, B1 for filling 7 minus X, B1 for filling 9 minus X, B1 for this, B1 for this, and B1 for the rest. For the rest means that getting this and this and this, this and that. So now we shall go to part B. Part B says that find the number of students who had visited all the 3 countries. So they want the value of X. So here I'll come and add all those ones. So the whole of this, the inverse, so it means that I have to add all these ones plus this to give me 40. So this 15 plus b plus c plus 9 minus x plus 8. So 15 comes from here. So the whole of this is 15, which is there. So I'll come and say that the whole of this is 15. Then I'll come and add on b, then add on c, add on 9 minus x, and add on 18 to come up with the total, which is 40. So that is where that line comes from. The next is to substitute. I know b, I know c, so b is that, c is that. Next is to simplify and correct like terms. You realize that this and this cancel, so remain with only one x, which is there. Then 15 plus this is 16, 16 plus 2 is 18, 18 plus 9 is 27, 27 plus 8 is 35, which is here. Then this 40 remains. Therefore x is equal to 5 students. So now we shall go to part C. Part C says that find the probability that a student chosen at random had visited Roman 1 only one country and Roman 2 at least 2 countries. So what you are going to do, we are going to redraw our Venn diagram and substitute the value of x. So when I do that, this is what I'll come up with. So now they want the probability for only one subject. Only one country, visited only one country. So I'll come and say that only one, it means that you come up and get this plus this plus this over the total, which is 40, to come up with 18 over 40. Then Roman 2, at least 2 countries. At least 2 means that 2 or more. So there is this, there is this, there is this, and there is that. So 2 is there, 3 is there, 4 is there, 5 is there, over the total, which is 40, to come up with 14 over 40. So M1 for the substitution, A1 for the value of x, which is required, M1 for the substitution, A1 for the value of the probability, M1 for substitution, A1 for the required probability. So that was question 11. Now we shall go to question 12. Question 12 says, given that mx is equal to tx minus 5 and m2 is equal to 7, part A, find the value of Roman 1t, Roman 2. Okay, let's start with Roman 1. So m2 is equal to, remember mx was tx minus 5, so m2 means that where there is x you put there 5 to come up with, and they told us that this m2 is equal to 7. Simplifying, this gives you 2t minus 5 equal to 7. Then collect like terms, this one goes this side to become 7 plus 2 plus 5, which is 12. Then divide throughout by 2 to come up with t equal to 6. So that was Roman 1. Roman 2 says find the value of m a half, and Roman 3 m negative 3. So now that I've got t, I'll come and say that mx is equal to 6x minus 5. Therefore, m a half, it means that where there is x, you put there a half. to come up with 2. And m negative 3, it means that where there is x, we put there negative 3 to come up with negative 23. So now we shall go to part B. Part B says that determine Roman 1 inverse of x, inverse of mx. So we shall come here and say that mx is equal to 6x minus 5. Therefore, to get the inverse, we are going to first replace this with capital Y and this with capital X. So we use uppercase letters. After doing that, the next thing to do is to look for a way of making capital X the subject. So when I take this 5 this side, I'll come up with y plus 5 equal to 6x. And when I divide both sides by 6, I'll come up with x being equal to y plus 5 over 6. Now after making capital X the subject, I'll come and say that therefore the inverse of mx is equal to where there is capital Y, you put there small x. So where there is capital X, you put the required inverse, and where there is capital Y, you put small x. That is how they get inverse of a function. So Roman 2, they wanted inverse of negative m negative 2. Therefore, it means that where there is x, I'll substitute negative 2 to come up with a half. So m1 for substitution, m1 for dividing by 2, and a1 for the value of t. m1 for substitution, and a1 for the value of m1/2. a1 for substitution, and a1 for the value of m negative 3. Then m1 for replacing with uppercase letters, m1 for making x the subject, a1 for the required inverse, m1 for substitution, a1 for the output. So that was question 12. Now we shall go to question 13. In the triangle OAB, OA is A tilde and OB is B tilde. Given that E is a midpoint of OA and D divides AB in the ratio of 2 to 1, and OC is equal to 2OB, Roman 1, expressed in terms of vectors A and B, Roman 1 AB, Roman 2 AD, Roman 3 ED. And part B says that show that ED and C are collinear. So this is the diagram showing the vectors given. So they first want AB, therefore shall come and say that, so from here to here is equal to from here to here plus from here to here. Now if you look at AO, it is in opposite direction to OA, therefore this will be negative. So AO is negative A and OB is positive B because it's in the same direction. Therefore, you shall come here and say that AB is equal to AO plus OB, and AO is negative B and OB is positive B, therefore rearrange to come up with B minus A. Then Roman 2, they wanted AD from A to D. So the good thing, we know that D divides AB in the ratio 2 to 1. So that means that AD to DB is equal to 2 to 1. And from ratio theorem, AD is equal to this is corresponding ratio, which is 2, over the total, which is 2 plus 1, which is here, multiplied by AB. And AB is from here up to here. We are doing that because these two inner values are the same. That's when this formula works. So this becomes 2 over 3, which is here, and AB, we already got it here, which is B minus A. Then Roman 3, they want ED. So ED from E to D. And the good thing, we know that E is the midpoint of OA. So you come and say that ED is equal to EA plus AD, and EA, remember, E is the midpoint of OA, therefore this becomes a half A, and AD, we have already got it here, which is there. The next is to get the LCM. LCM of 2 and 3 is 6. Now 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now 3 times 1A gives you 3A tilde. Then for the other term, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, multiplied by B minus A. That's why you see here 4 multiplied by B minus A. Then when I open this bracket, I'll come up with 3A plus 4B minus 3 minus 4A. So 3A minus 4A gives you negative A, and 4B is here. So I can pull out 6 to come up with 1 over 6 being equal to 4B minus A. So M1 for this, A1 for this, M1 for this, A1 for that. M1 for this, M1 for combining, A1 for this vector. Now part B, they want you to show that ED and C are collinear. So EC is equal to EO plus OC, and EO is the opposite of OE, which is negative a half A. Then OC is 2B. Therefore when I use LCM, I'll come up with LCM, this is like over 1, therefore LCM is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times 1A is, but there's a negative here, so it becomes negative A. Then 2 divided by 1 is 2. 2 times 2B is equal to 4B, that's why there is 4B there. That means that I can pull out this a half to come up with a half in brackets 4B minus A. In the previous slide, I already got ED as 1 over 6B 4B minus A, so I'll come and divide the two, EC over ED, to come up with, because this one cancels, then a half divided by 1 over 6 is the same as a half times 6 over 1, which is 3. Therefore when I cross multiply, I come up with EC being equal to 3ED. Therefore I come and make a conclusion that since EC is equal to 3ED and point E is common to both lines EC and ED, then the points ED and C are collinear. So M1 for this and B1 for this. M1 for this division, B1 for this relation, B1 for the conclusion. So that was question 13. Now we shall go to question 14. Part A says, a businessman deposits shillings 8 million at a bank that gives 5% compound interest per annum for 2 years. After 2 years, he decided to withdraw 50% of the money by then. Calculate how much money he withdrew from the bank. So we have that formula: A is equal to P, which is the principal, plus, in brackets, 100 plus R over 100 over raised to the power N. So R is the rate, N is the number of years. So when we come here, the principal is this amount deposited, which is 8 million. Then the rate is 5. R is 5, which is 5%, and N is 2, which is the number of years. So you come and substitute for P, R, and n. So P was 8 million, R was 5, N was 2. So simplify to come up with that, simplify further to come up with that amount. But they said you withdrew 50%, so money withdrawn will be 50 over 100 multiplied by this total amount which is available to come up with shillings 4,410,000. So M1 for substitution, M1 for simplifying, B1 for the amount, M1 for substitution, A1 for the amount. So that was part A. Now we shall go to part B. Part B says that the cash price of a TV set is Ugandan shillings 450,000. It can either be bought on cash for a discount of 2.5% or be bought on hire purchase terms by paying a deposit of 30% of the cash price and paying 8 equal monthly installments of shillings 50,000. Roman 1. Calculate the cost of the TV on hire purchase terms. And Roman 2. How much more does a buyer pay on hire purchase terms rather than on cash terms? So hire purchase price will be 30% of the cash price plus 8 monthly installments of shillings 50,000. So when I do that, I'll come and simplify. This bracket gives you this and this gives you that. Add them, you come up with shillings 562,000. Then Roman 2, for cash price there was a discount of 2.5%, so the remaining percentage will be 97.5%. Therefore, the price on cash terms will be 97.5 over 100 times the original cash price, which will be now shillings 526,500 shillings. So the extra amount paid will be the difference between the two, which is 36,000 shillings. So M1 for both these brackets and another M1 for adding them. A1 for the higher purchase price. M1 for this substitution, B1 for the output, M1 for the subtraction, A1 for the output. So that was question 14. Now we shall go to question 15. Part A says, without using either a calculator or mathematical tables, simplify Roman 1 this and Roman 2 that. So in this case, they wanted to use the rules of indices. So first of all, 64 is the same as 2 to the power 6. 2 to the power 6, but because it is the reciprocal, that's why there is a negative here, because it's a reciprocal. Then 32 is 2 to the power 5. The next is to remember that these two powers can be multiplied, so negative 6 and negative a half can be multiplied together, and also 5 and negative 1 over 5 can be multiplied together. So when I multiply this, I'll come up with 3, positive 3, and when I multiply this, I'll come up with negative 1. Now, same base, when you multiply, it means that you add the powers, so this plus this gives you 3 plus negative 1, which is 3 minus 1. Now, this power 3 minus 1 gives you 2, that is why there is 2 to the power 2 there. And 2 to the power 2 is the same as 2 times 2, which is 4. Then for Roman 2, they gave you this, so you have to remember that 27 is the same as 3 to the power 3, and 125 is the same as 5 to the power 3. Now these powers are the same, meaning that the power can go outside to remain with 5 over 3 raised to the power 3 times this power which was originally there, which is negative 1 over 3. Now this multiplying these two powers gives negative 1. Now negative 1 means that you get the reciprocal. So to make it positive power, it means you get the reciprocal. It was 3 over 5, so the reciprocal will be 5 over 3. So M1 for the indices, this and this. Then M1 for obtaining this. Then A1 for the final answer. M1 for the indices, this and this. Then M1 for obtaining this, and A1 for the answer. So that was part A. Now for part B, we shall say, given that log 2 is equal to 0.3010, log 3 is equal to 0.4771, and log 5 is equal to 0.6990. Without using either a calculator or mathematical tables, work out Roman 1, log 6, log 1.5, and log 13. So for Roman 1, log 6 is the same as 2 times 3, meaning that when I expand this, I'll come up with log 2 plus log 3. Then I'll come and substitute for log 2 and log 3 to come up with 0.7781. Then Roman 2 was log 1.5, which is 3 over 2. Now this can be expanded to log 3 minus log 2. Then I'll substitute for log 3 and log 2, subtract the 2, come up with 0.1761. Then Roman 3 was log 30, and log 30 is equal to 30 is the same as 2 times 3 times 5 to come up with log 2 plus log 3 plus log 5. So this is supposed to be log 5. Then I'll come and substitute for log 2, log 3, and log 5 to come up with 1.4771. So M1 for this addition, A1 for the output, M1 for the subtraction, A1 for the output, M1 for addition, A1 for the output. So that was question 15. Now shall go to question 16. Question 16 part A says, a line passing through a point A, which is 2, 3, is parallel to a line this. Find Roman 1 the equation of the line, and Roman 2 the coordinates of the y-intercept of this line. So the first thing to remember is that parallel lines have the same gradient. So we are going to come and rearrange the given line in order to get its gradient. So making 3y the subject, these two go this side to come up with 3y equal to, when this one goes this side becomes negative 2x, when this one goes this side becomes positive 5. Then divide throughout by 3 to come up with negative 2 over 3x plus 5 over 3. Now this equation is now in the form of y equal to mx plus c, implying that m is negative 2 over 3. Therefore, that will be the gradient of the required line, and we also have this point. Therefore, when I substitute in this equation, I'll be able to get the y-intercept. So y is 3, m is negative 2 over 3, and ax is 2. That means that I can simplify to come up with that. Then value of c will be 19 over 3. So therefore, the required equation will be y equal to m, which is this, then plus c, which is that, mx plus c. Roman 2, they wanted the coordinates of the y-intercept. We already got y-intercept as 19 over 3, therefore the y-intercept will be 0, 19 over 3. So B1 for this gradient, M1 for substituting for M and A, point A, B1 for the value of C, B1 for the required equation, B1 for the coordinates of the y-intercept. So now we shall go to part B. Part B says that a line passing through point B, which is negative 1, 5, is perpendicular to the line this. Find Roman 1 the equation of the line, and Roman 2 the coordinates of the x-intercept of this line. So what you need to remember is that for perpendicular lines, the product of their gradient is equal to negative 1. So we shall rearrange that given line in the form y equal to mx plus c. Therefore, the gradient of this line is 3 over 5. So for perpendicular lines, the product of their gradients is equal to negative 1. So this is m1. I'll come and substitute, and this m2 is what I'm looking for. So m2 will be equal to negative 5 over 3. Therefore, using this equation, now that I've got m and I have a point on that line, I'm able to get the value of c. So substitute for y, which is 5, substitute for m, which is that, and substitute for x, which is that. So value of c will be that. Therefore, the required equation of the line will be y equal to mx plus c, which is that. So m1 for rearranging the given equation, b1 for getting the gradient which is required, and b1 for substituting, b1 for the value of c, b1 for the required equation. So Roman 2, they want the coordinates of the x-intercept of this line. X-intercept is when y is 0. So you come and say that when y is 0, you shall come up with that. Bring this on this side to come up with this. Then in this case, these three are the same, so they can cancel to remain with 5x equal to 10. Therefore, x is equal to 2, implying that the coordinates of the x-intercept is 2, 0. So m1 for this substitution, a1 for the x coordinate of the x-intercept. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and be reminded the next video will be on the marking guide of physics paper 1 of beginning of term 3 exam for senior 3. So if you have not yet subscribed, please click on the subscribe button below this video so that you can receive updates when the next video with the solutions of physics paper 1 has been uploaded. And also, if you know of any student who is not yet on this platform, please share the link of this video with them via social media platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp so that they can join and we all benefit as a family.